Hi, I'm Farley Lewis. Wanted to do a painting this morning of a house I saw yesterday morning. Took a picture of it while I was out walking, and we got about 5-6 inches of snow here in Springfield, Missouri, and so I've been taking a whole bunch of pictures lately. But anyway, this is a really just kind of ordinary looking house. I think it has a lot of character, but I want to paint it, and kind of it sort of leans toward the mundane, but I saw some features in it that I liked, and we want to bring those out in a painting, and we'll see how it goes. Let's do some of these big areas of color first. The sky would be a good place to start on this one. Phthalo blue and the teal blue, cobalt teal, mixing those together to try to match that sky color that I see there. It's a fairly deep blue sky. That's bluer than typical skies that I paint. Darker, I should say, and probably more saturated, more blue. Gonna add just a little touch of red into this back here in the corner. Gonna make the sky a little bit lighter as it gets lower. And over here, adding even more of the teal color in to the far left side of the painting, side where the sun's coming from. I'm gonna add just a touch of yellow to it too to really get it warmer. Mix those two colors together. Okay, now I've got a lot of limbs. I got a lot of tree stuff in here, so I'm going to mix my transparent red iron oxide and my phthalo blue together for these distant tree colors. And I'm going to switch to a little bit more of a reddish tone over here. And some of those trees go way up high. As they go up higher, I'm going to get lighter in color. And I'm going to kind of just lose all these edges because this is kind of I don't really want any sharp edges up here just because I don't want your eye to go up there. Now for that roof, that's the kind of the second house back, not the main house that we're painting, but the one behind it. And that is a shadow color that's fairly deep. The value is darker than the sky behind it, and it's very blue, picking up the blue of the blue sky. Okay, so here is our house color. And that nice deep dark blue is going to show off the area that I really want to focus on is the roof right here, where that snow has got tree shadows cutting through it. I'm going to shift that blue in the house with this teal color. And now the house back there looks like maybe a light brown or even a yellow house. But it's in shadow, so it's going to have a lot of blue in it still. Got a little bit too much white and yellow out, so I'm going to wash my brush so I'm not fighting that. For the shadow underneath that eave, a darker bluish purple color up under there. All right, I'm going to paint this main color of the house now. Some of the right colors out here already. It's like a really light green house, and it has tree shadows going through it. I always like to shift my colors as they go through. So this great big color block here feels like right in here is the hottest part of the color. I'm going to bump up that yellow, maybe add just a little tiny bit of orange even, and that's going to become my brightest area right in here, and also right here. For the green down in the bottom right corner of that house, I'm going to go a little darker and brighten it up again. You know, I think all these pillars are the same color green. No, they're white. Part here is the same color. I'm going to go ahead and put some of those tree shadows in there. They're cutting across that house. I'm going to bump up these bright areas again. I'm leaving some of the spots around it to look like more shadows that are just lighter. And this here is the same color green. The shadow side of that greenhouse is one of the darkest values in the picture. So I'm going to darken it a lot. I intentionally make these edges less than perfect, partly because I don't want an architectural rendering. I want an impressionistic painting of a house. Okay, I just painted that and it feels a little lifeless. So I'm going to come back and brighten it up with just a little bit brighter green. I'm going to add a little red into it just because I can. I like that a little better. Now for the shadow side of this roof here, kind of the same color as this, that rich purple color. See a little bit warmer blue in the middle of this. I've run out of space on my palette, so I'm going to clean this. Gonna leave that blue there because I want to thinking about doing the snow next. See a little bit of yellow, light yellow green kind of a color for the snow that's on the top of the house. I'm going to just put a little bit of it right there. This is the snow that's in the sun. Shadow color for the snow is going to be kind of similar to these deep blues here, except it's going to be a little bit lighter. Really globbing the paint on thick for this. And I'm going to use a mall stick. Since this is kind of an area that I really want to make it zippy and cool.
Could you show the camera back here what you're doing with that?
Yeah, I put this into, it's called a maul stick. Sometimes when I was a sign painter, I put a cork right here. In fact, I probably have one that's got a cork on it somewhere in here, but this doesn't have one. But it's just something that you can put it against something sturdy and then put your hand on that. So this is just going against, the end of it's just going against the wall, and my hand rests on the maul stick. So it gives me a little bit more control.
So you call it a maul stick?
A maul stick, M-A-U-L.
Okay.
Okay, now for the underside of that house, the underside of the porch, make up a dark green. Kind of using that purplish blue for a base, adding in greens. You know, use my maul stick. A little bit of that right up against this house, this edge here. There's a pillar there that's just a little bit away from the wall. That dark kind of goes all the way down. And this is the shadow underneath the porch. I'm going to paint the back side of that shadow side of this pillar, bluish color. And then you see shadow running across this railing here. I'm going to go back in with the lighter, and for the light side of that pillar, and the shadow side of the pillar over here. And there's a rock foundation of some kind to the house, something along this line. I didn't get that color go far enough down. Turns the corner, it gets quite a bit darker. This might be about as dark of a value as I have in the whole photograph. So I'm going to go real dark. I'm going to fill in that little patch of house color that I didn't quite go down far enough for right here. And the sunny side of this pillar. Okay, kind of quick and dirty, but I think it's going to work. Shadow under the eave. It's amazing how much definition that gives it, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then this is a deep shadow here as well. There's a little bit of a roof here. I think I'm going to just go ahead and do the snow so that I have the rest of the canvas filled in. Snow's got a lot of blue color in it. So this time of day, morning, fairly early in the morning, the shadows in the snow are going to be very blue. And the shadows back here are almost as dark as that house. In fact, they probably are as dark as the house. So it's all kind of one value. All of this is kind of one value. So it kind of minimizes these edges here because the values are the same. This is the shadow of that car. I'm not sure I'm going to put that car in there, but I might. See some darker colors back here. See lighter streaks through the snow that I just painted in. The snow in the sun has got that orange yellow color of the sun. That's what this is here. And it probably has just a little bit of the blue mixed in too. Kind of grays it out just a little. Use some of that same color to beef up some of these streaks of light through here. All right, now I'm going to put some snow on these steps. Almost can't see that. Okay, and then I'm seeing a little bit of light blue right back here. Okay, and I see, oh, it's not drawn real well. It kind of swings in too far there. And I see a shadow, that these shadows here actually go down on top of that eave there. So I'm mixing the shadow color in with the house color. And I have an eave shadow right here. There's a complex little thing going on with the roof here. I'm going to have to figure out eventually. Okay, I see something else that I need to do. Got a shadow side to this pillar here. The front side just barely too narrow, so I'm going to make it wider. I may have to paint that twice since I'm painting wet into wet. All right, there's something that goes from this corner down to that. There's a little roof thing on top of that. Snow up there. I'm going to pull some of that in for just light blue color and white. There's a little bit of the roof. Black doesn't have snow on it, like the snow melted off, so I'm going to put that in. Trying to make these shadows cut back, follow that roof line. And I see some really darks on the porch down here, just shadows and whatever that is. I can use that same color for this window, put up a gray color for this window. I'm going to leave that sash, that line through the middle of the window, just leave it alone and not paint it. Already kind of the right color. Okay, that's a pretty good start. A lot of little picky things we could do to make this better and add detail and all. Kind of do them as I see them. Okay, I see a color that's not right. This color back here in the house, it's too warm, so I'm just going to cool it with blue. Notice I didn't just obliterate that color that I already had there. It was kind of close. I just streaked blue over the top of it. And there's a big tree here that we need to put in. What do you think?
I was kind of wondering about that tree. I always enjoy watching you build and what layers you put in first and things that you omit from the photo.
What have I omitted?
The cars.
Well, I may put them in still. It kind of remains to be seen.
What would make you decide one way or the other?
Oh, if it needs it, I'd kind of look at the picture as I get close and decide if it helps tell the story or if it needs that little bit of detail. I'm making these more brown and less blue as they go higher, because that's kind of what I see in the picture. Maybe that's because there's more sun catching it up there higher. I don't know. This is where I have to back off of detail and not go to seed on limbs. You got to put enough in there to kind of tell the story of what that tree does, but I don't want so many in there that it takes away from the house, because it's kind of a secondary player. It's not the headline attraction of this. So
What do you see as the headline attraction?
well, the house, and the shadows on the house. So that's going to be kind of what we want the eye to draw to. So the rest of this kind of secondary information doesn't mean it's not important. It's just it just can't compete with the house.
So you just want to suggest the tree?
Right, that's a good way to say it. Now I need a sunny side of that tree. Pretty gray, not a whole lot of color in it. Try this, a little warmer. You're wondering what I was going to do with that little stump of a limb there, weren't you?
I was. How'd you know?
I just had that feeling. Okay, we can do a little bit of darker color to show what this porch rail is doing. This is one of those times when less is more, so I'm just going to suggest these. And there's a rail that goes the other way, handrail up on top, and something on the bottom. And it looks like there's space underneath this house, really dark, like you could crawl under that porch if you wanted. So let's go ahead and put that in while we're at it.
See that, but I don't think I'd want to crawl under that.
No telling what you'd bump into, a raccoon or a snake or something. Probably not this time of year. Okay, and I'm going to put a shadow on that tree back there. Put a little snow built up against the front side of it. All right. Could put a trim piece around the window. I usually don't do it this way. I usually paint the trim in as a block of white and then paint the dark parts on top of it. And I need to pay more careful attention to the underside of that awning. And I'm going to go for a kind of a blue-green color. I think that's quite right. Too dark. Okay, this snow feels a little too yellow. Remember what we said about yellow snow in another one of these videos? Don't eat it. Okay, so there's our snow kind of bumping up that, making it a little lighter. Okay, and then I see a few little touches of detail that'd be kind of fun to put in. See a couple of bright orange things. I don't even know what they are. Don't need to. Let's put those in just for some bright color.
Maybe they're leftover from Halloween.
Okay, I painted it into that color that I had there for that crawl space. Kind of changed it too much, so let's try that. There's another one right here. Wow, and those are nuclear strong, aren't they? Maybe too strong, but we'll try it. Okay, and I see shadows around the steps. Let me do this pillar all the way to the ground first, because it goes almost all the way to the ground. And the blue backside of it. Now we're ready for some steps. Okay, put some snow on it. That snow should have been blue, probably. It's in the shadow. This building back here needs windows in it. Could do at some point. Okay, there's another thing that I do at this stage. I adjust colors. Like I see that the color underneath the awning is not quite green enough. It's a little bit too blue. You see that?
Yep.
It doesn't look quite natural. So mute that color with orange, that green color. Too much. These grays are really important. Just a gray-green color. Still just a little bit too dark. That feels more natural, doesn't it? And there's some limbs coming down through there too. And I noticed that the pillar, the shadow color on the pillar needs to be a little lighter. I tell you what I'll do. I'll do some quickie windows where we stop back here. Really needs something. And a bush, which is about the same color as the window. Just a little touch of green in it. Okay, pretty much it's almost done, but there's some trouble spots like this roof line here. Needs another touch of dark in there. I can't tell what's exactly happening there, but okay. I think I'm about ready to call this done. There's a lot more I could do to it to make it better, but I think I captured the essence of it. I could add this dark window on the other side. That kind of feels like it needs something over here. So I see one more other thing that I kind of want to do. I kind of want to get some trees going back here. This will also clean up that edge. It's a little sloppy, so if I look at it, I see little things that I'd like to fix, like top window. I like to step back 6 to 10 feet away to see, it gives you a perspective on it that you don't see up close. Okay, I think I'm done. Stick a fork in me. Okay, this is the portion of the video where I say something wise and kind of to wrap everything up, and I don't have anything like that. So, I've been painting for a long time today, and I'm kind of ready for a break, but I enjoyed this. I hope you did too. Thanks for watching.